What's up guys, Dylan here from All You Can Board, and I am actually here for this video in our new studio. This is our first video in this new studio, and to be completely honest with you, you would have absolutely no idea that we're in a new studio. It looks the exact same to you guys. Everything I'm looking at here is a little bit different. It's a slightly smaller room, but for you guys, honestly, we did an update video recently. If you might have seen it, we announced that we were moving and there was going to be a little bit of a change to the channel. I feel like if we didn't even do that video, maybe no one would have even have noticed that we had moved studios, and we could have just seen who was the first one to pick up on it. Anyways, we have moved. There's some subtle differences. I was even thinking of switching the background here into the corner and having a bit of a new look. Might still do that, but for now it's gonna look pretty much the exact same. So anyways, that's neither here nor there. We are here today to talk about some brand new games. We've done a couple videos like this in the past. There are some really cool brand new board games that have been announced that are either coming soon or coming way in the future that I am personally really excited about, and I want to share them with you and get you as excited about it as I am, so that I can, not be alone in this hype and having to wait for them. I can have people that I can talk about with these games with and bring into this world of having to wait for things that aren't coming necessarily right away. So there are some great titles here. Let's not waste any more time and jump right into these 7 brand new games I want to talk about. All right, the first game that I want to talk about is probably the one that I might be the most excited about on this list, and I feel like a lot of people will share in that with me. And this is Arydia, The Paths We Dare Tread. Now, this is a game from Cody Miller, who you might know from the person who designed, I believe you pronounce it Zia. I honestly don't know. I'm the worst with pronunciations. Someone's going to correct me. I'm not doing this on purpose. The subtitle is Legends of a Drift System. I know that. That came out in 2014. Now, this is the follow-up game, not even follow-up, just new game that he's been working on ever since then, that it seems super, super ambitious. And ever since I heard about it, I have been absolutely as excited as you can be for a board game, because I have talked about wanting a game like this, an experience like this, for a while in a tabletop board game setting. But there's so much to be excited about in this game. So for those who don't know, this is a legacy game, and this is described as an open world legacy board game. I believe the full way that they describe it is an open world campaign-based cooperative fantasy RPG board game. So there's a lot of terminology there, all jumbled into one. Basically, I think the idea here is that you and your party of friends can decide how you're going to take on this world. Think of any open world game you've played, like Skyrim or Zelda Breath of the Wild. You go where you want, and you discover different settings and different characters and different monsters, different NPCs and storylines. That seems to be what we're getting here. It's a game about exploration. Every location is going to be unique, not randomly generated or anything like that. And it's an open world. You choose how to explore. You can decide as a party you want to go and follow this thread here and go see what's going on here, or you can decide you're going to forego that completely and go here. And depending on the decisions that you make, NPCs and locations might change or act differently around you. Now, that is super exciting to me because I like the aspect of being around a table and, the tabletop experience. It's one of the reasons Gloomhaven was one of my favorite games, is because you get that. And that was more of a dungeon diving experience, but bringing a group consistently together to meet this common goal, and something you would normally accomplish in a video game these days, doing it in a board game setting was just perfect for what I'm looking for in that kind of campaign system. Arydia is promising to deliver that in the most ambitious way possible. You can choose where you want to go, you can choose what you want to tackle, and the world will respond and to the decisions you're making. Now, there's combat involved here as well. You're upgrading your characters, you're getting new skills, you're getting new abilities, you're leveling up. All that is present. There's so much here to be excited about, and it seems super ambitious. That as excited as I am, there's a little bit of hesitancy, because I want to see if they can pull off everything that they're promising here. The good news is that we have been waiting for this for so long, but we don't have to wait that much longer, because they have announced that the Kickstarter is launching August 3rd. So that is, 2 short months, less than 2 months now away from when this video is being posted. So we will get to find out a whole bunch more very, very soon. I imagine that this game, even though it's launched on Kickstarter in August, probably isn't going to be arriving to us until well into 2022, maybe late 2022. Sometimes these games take a long time to get to us, but regardless, having a date is really, really good, because again, lots of people have been waiting for this game for a while. So the last thing to know is it's a green legacy game. So they are even though normally in legacy games you're destroying components and ripping things up, they are specifically designed in this one to not have that involved. You will potentially lose components or things will change, but the game is supposed to be easy to reset and start again from the beginning. So Again, I'm super excited about this game. Hopefully, even just hearing about it has made you as excited as me, and we will find out more in August. And you can bet we're gonna have a video covering everything when we get that information done, because I am gonna have a lot to say about it. So that is the first game, Arydia, The Paths We Dare Tread. Okay, the next game we have is a super exciting one that was actually probably the most recently announced of all the games I think on this list, and that is The Hunger. Now, The Hunger is a board game from Richard Garfield, who, if you don't know, is one of the people behind Magic the Gathering. Most recently, he was also the one behind Keyforge, which we've had some content on our channel. So, famed designer, and he's teamed up with Renegade Games and Ori Games, and he is creating The Hunger. Now, The Hunger is a deck building game, and it's a deck building game with a board, and you'll know that I really enjoy games like that, such as Clank, where they take a deck building aspect or the Quest for El Dorado, and they combine it with you having to interact with the board in some way, whether that's through movement, whether that's through, whatever the case may be. This is one where it has that same kind of idea, but the theme behind it and why you're doing this deck building is really interesting, how they've implemented that. So the idea is that you are a vampire hunting humans, and the humans that you're hunting are going to give you victory points, and those are going to be cards that go into your deck. Now, much like if you've played Dominion, in Dominion there was, for instance, these province cards, and each one would give, I think it was 6 victory points. And so you obviously want them, it's a large chunk of victory points, but they also become dead cards in your deck that you're building. So when you draw them, they do nothing for you, but at the end of the game, they're worth points. You have to decide when to get them to fill your deck with these dead cards, because you want to get victory points by the end of the game. This seems to have that same kind of system, but the theme is that they're humans that you've been hunting, and those are adding victory points to your deck. And there's a board that you're moving around and as this vampire to hunt these humans, and that's what you're doing with your deck building. So the theme is really cool, and how they've implemented it sounds very, very neat. And the fact that Richard Garfield is behind it gives me a lot of faith that we're gonna see some unique things and a really unique spin on this genre, even though it's a genre that's been, I don't want to say done to death, but we see a lot of deck builders, and we even see now a lot of deck builders with a board attached to them. So there's a lot to be excited about here. The artwork seems really, really cool, and the design and everything like that. We are going to find out about this game, I think, fairly soon. I don't know if they've announced a specific date. I don't have it in front of me. If they do, I'll put it in text on the screen right now, because I don't want to waste time trying to find it. But in general, it looks like this is going to be one that we're not waiting a year to play. I think it's going to be coming sooner rather than later. It is listed as a 2021 game, but we've seen that happen before, and then a game comes in 2022. It is listed for 2 to 6 players, so it accommodates a pretty large amount of players, which is really great. I am super pumped about this. Again, I trust Richard Garfield, is why I was excited about Keyforge. I'm excited about The Hunger, and I cannot wait to play it. So if you like deck builders, if you like Richard Garfield, I think that you should keep an eye on this one, and hopefully we'll get more info soon and even get some videos to see how it plays. All right, this next one is for the Marvel Champions fans out there. We had a leak come out. Now, this leak was done back in April. I didn't cover it on the channel specifically, and there was some debate, whether it was true or false, but so far everything in this leak has basically come true. The most recent being the Thanos big box announcement. We had a follow-up leak that happened. I missed it at first. I've read about it now. There was an organized play kit. I'll put the graphic up on the screen, but basically further confirmed what we believed with this leak. And I feel comfortable talking about it because it seems to be pretty much confirmed at this point. Not 100%, but it's looking pretty good. So we kind of know now 4 upcoming hero packs, as well as a scenario pack that are coming out. Those heroes being Nebula, War Machine, Valkyrie, and Vision. All exciting heroes, and a little unexpected after we had the Guardians of the Galaxy line, and Nebula seems to be continuing that. But then we have these other 3 heroes that are very much not a part of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and also don't seem to necessarily fit together in another line of heroes, or depending what they're planning to do there. So we had a further look at some of them. We actually got some stats for some of these heroes because of these promo cards. I don't know that we had the stats before, but it's only a little bit of new information, but it is new information. So for instance, War Machine, all of them are going to have a 5-card hand size when it comes to their hero form, which that's pretty much expected. But we do get some look at the HP and the stats. So for War Machine, we're looking at 10 health for War Machine, 1 thwart, 2 attack, and 2 defense. For Nebula, 9 health, lower health, but 2s across the board for all of her stats. For Valkyrie, higher hit points of 12, higher amongst these anyways. And then 1 thwart, 2 attack, 1 defense. We don't know their abilities yet. I can see about like 2 letters of Valkyrie's ability, and that's about it. But we are getting a little bit more of information here. I don't know which ones are going to be announced first. I don't know the ordering here. If I had to guess, you would think Nebula would come first, just because of the fact that it still ties into Thanos. The Guardians of the Galaxy seems to be part of that line. And then after that, they would deviate and go into, Valkyrie, War Machine, and Vision. We didn't get any information on Vision, but these packs seem to now be coming. It seems to be confirmed. I just don't know the order, which begs the question then, does that mean that also the scenario pack that was leaked, which was the Hood, is also coming? And that again would be, I believe, our first scenario pack in a while. So we're kind of due for a scenario pack. I don't know where that would slot in, but that would be an interesting scenario pack to see, especially if they, just like with Kang, if they find a new interesting way to approach a scenario. If it's just going to be, here's a new villain, take it on, it's kind of difficult, or whether they're going to find this interesting way to implement it and give us, a new way to tackle a scenario. That's kind of what I'm hoping, is that just like with the heroes, they find a new and interesting way to give us a new scenario to take on. Either way, really exciting stuff. I know some people, it's mixed. I've heard some people that are really excited about these heroes, some that, were hoping for, different heroes. I like that we're going to get War Machine and Vision as actual heroes in the game. Those are 2 characters I really like. I think Nebula's is just hilarious, because Nebula is going to be basically every role in this game. She's a villain, she's an ally, she's a hero, she's basically everything. So I'm really interested to see how they implement that and how similar she is to her villain scenario with the attachments and all that kind of stuff. And then Valkyrie is just, it's more of a, for me, I'm not as familiar with the Valkyrie hero, but I like these heroes that get introduced that are sort of not out of left field, but they're maybe the ones you wouldn't have expected. We got that even with the ones that are in the Thanos set. I would have been expected, Monica Rambeau to make it in as a hero, but I welcome that, and I like that we get some of these ones we're not expecting. Valkyrie is like that for me. I'm curious to see if she'll have, a bunch of cards in there that'll perhaps give Thor a boost because of the ties to Asgard and whatnot, whether, she'll be a natural fit to do a team up with, or maybe just a natural fit to share some of those cards. It'll be interesting to see. So very pumped about these. I can't wait to find out more about them. I imagine we're going to get another announcement for one of these packs really soon, and as soon as we get one of them announced, I think that'll 100% confirm them if they're not already 100% confirmed. Everything still just continues to line up in their favor for this leak being true, which means we kind of know what the next slate of heroes is going to be. So exciting Marvel Champions stuff. Let's move on to the next game. All right, so the next one is the one that we definitely know the least about out of anything here. I don't even have that much I can share outside of my excitement, but it might be the one that people end up being the most pumped for, and that is we don't even know the name of the game yet, but it is an Elder Scrolls board game that is being done by Chip Theory Games, who you'll know from, for instance, Cloudspire or Too Many Bones. Cloudspire was covered on our channel here, so you might have seen our content on that. I think they have another one coming out called Burn Cycle, I believe it is as well. That is their most recent one, I think. But Elder Scrolls is obviously a huge property. Skyrim is a massive, massive game. We're getting an Elder Scrolls licensed board game here. Bethesda's involved, ZeniMax Online is involved, and Chip Theory Games is involved as well. Chip Theory Games is obviously known for using the poker chip style chips, hence Chip Theory, in their games. I would imagine we're going to see that here. Otherwise, it would just, that's my expectation given what we've seen from the other games. It'll be interesting to see what kind of game we're getting here. Obviously, the first thing you think about with Elder Scrolls is open world sandbox type game. Is that what we're going to be getting here? Is this going to be an Arydia style of game where, you're going to have a bunch of things you can do and it's an open world campaign? Or is this going to be more, not scaled down, but just enclosed more, where it's not this open world campaign. It is a sit down, play it, and be done with it, but you want to come back to it multiple times. And if so, how are they going to do that? How do you convert a massive game like the Elder Scrolls into a board game? We just saw The Witcher is turned into a board game. That is also an open world game. So that was converted. I wonder how much this is going to be similar to that, how much it's going to differ. The only bad news here, because it's all been good news with this, is that details, the website specifically says details coming 2022. It doesn't even say the game is coming 2022. If I had to guess, if I was wagering a guess here, I would say that early 2022, there's likely going to be a Kickstarter campaign, or we're just going to get an information dump. If there's a Kickstarter campaign, it'll probably be the case of that starting in 2022 at the beginning, by February or March. And then we wouldn't be getting the delivery of the game until end of 2022, maybe even like up to mid 2023. So we have at least, potentially up to a 2-year wait here to have this in our hands. But as information gets released, obviously that'll make the wait a little bit easier. Nonetheless, anything Elder Scrolls related in a tabletop game is going to do phenomenally well. This is something coming to Kickstarter. This is going to be a massive campaign, and it's going to be one that I think a lot of people are going to get behind. So I cannot wait to find out more. I'm sure a lot of you feel the same. As soon as we find out any more, I'm going to try to do a video on this channel for, because this is one that I'm keeping a very close eye on. All right, the next game we're going to talk about is a sequel to a game that was nominated for the Spiel des Jahres. And for all I know, by the time this is posted, or by the time you're watching this, maybe it's won, who knows? This is, of course, MicroMacro Crime City. There's going to be a follow-up called MicroMacro Crime City Full House. Now, we have gotten some tidbits here even beyond this. This is a sequel to MicroMacro, obviously, but it seems to be that it's going to be part of a 4-game series, each game focusing on a different district of the city. So if you haven't played MicroMacro, Carlo has been playing a lot of it. Might be doing some content on our channel very soon. I haven't played it yet, but from what I understand, you basically get a large map, and you can almost think of this as, a souped up Where's Waldo. You'll have different, crimes you have to solve, or different stories you have to solve, different cases, and you basically have to use the map to follow different threads around and solve this case. So, it might be, I'm going to make something up here, but it might be that someone robbed this store, and that is the case you're presented, and you have to find the store on the map, and then you look for some footprints there, and now you have to match those footprints with something you see over here, and you're basically using the entire city map to solve different cases, and there's tons of red herrings, and there's tons of other things that are going to pop up in different cases. That huge map that we already got in the main game is apparently only one district. This Full House sequel is going to be another district. There's apparently going to be 4 games. It'll then be 4 districts, and eventually you'll be able to solve cases across multiple districts, which is, I don't even know what kind of size table you would need to be able to set this all up. That's going to be absolutely massive. But regardless, we're just talking about Full House for now. So we're going to get 16 more cases in this game. So you're going to get 60 more cases to solve. They're apparently going to be more complex and more sophisticated, whatever that means. Obviously an evolution on what we saw in the base game. I'm sure they're going to get, a little more wacky with some of the things they're doing, and a little more creative as they learn about the system, get more comfortable with the system when they're designing it. Apparently all of them are going to have, each case is going to have symbols attached to it. The symbols are strictly going to be just for parents who are playing this with young kids, and the symbols are going to dictate, what age you might want to be able to, deal with some of the subject matter. I think the last game had some things to do with killing, perhaps, or whatever. Some kids might not, be ready for that kind of theme in a case. This will allow parents to, dictate which ones they play. But that being said, Carlo's been playing this with his wife. They're both full-grown adults and having a lot of fun with it. So I think this is one of those games that just strikes the right balance for all ages. Again, I think no one is surprised to find out there's going to be a sequel to this game, given the popularity. It's done surprisingly well. It's been covered on a lot of channels. I think it's just going to be interesting to see how they integrate all these different games that are coming out in the MicroMacro line. And I'm really curious to see when they're all out what these massive cases could be that are going to use multiple maps, and just how difficult those are going to be. So if you've been hankering for some more MicroMacro, this one is coming out this year, and you will be able to get a whole bunch of new cases to try out. All right, the next game we're going to talk about is a really cool game from a couple designers that work together frequently and design a lot of games that Carlo and I are big fans of. So this is Savannah Park. Now, Savannah Park is done by Wolfgang Kramer and Michael Kiesling. If you saw our Renature video, that was one of their, I think it's their most recent game, or it's one of their most recent games, definitely the most recent one we've covered. We loved Renature. We've played it multiple times. We're huge fans of it. They've done a whole bunch of other games that you might have heard of. They've done 6 Nymph. I think El Grande, Downforce, Paris was another recent one. There's tons of games they've done. There's no way I could even name half of them and get them all right here. This is from Capstone Games as well. Capstone Games is a really, a publisher that we really, really enjoy playing their games, because of the production value on their games is so great. And production value is just something in games that usually makes it have a nicer table presence, and is one of those games you just want to bring out and play with your friends. So everything about this game so far is looking great. The artwork looks great. The components look great. It's a tile placement game. I personally enjoy tile placement games, especially when they find creative ways to, twist the formula and find new ways to, ignite it. This is going to be one where you're basically, everyone starts with 33 unique animal tiles, and they're randomly distributed or laid out on your personal wildlife park, but everyone has the same 33, but they're unique from each other. On your turn, you're naming a specific face-up tile, and all players are then going to pick up that tile, turn it face down, and you're going to place it basically on a different empty spot in your wildlife park. Again, I haven't played this in front of me. I'm basically taking a lot of this from Board Game Geek, but from what I understand, you're then basically going to score points. Each animal is going to score points for, whichever one has the largest herd for each of the 6 animal types. You're also trying to keep grass and trees exposed and not covered on your board. You're also trying to be near I think it's like brush fires or something like that. There's a whole bunch of different ways to score points, again, as you would expect from a tile placement game, based on how you're organizing your wildlife park. But again, depending what people are calling out for tiles, you're gonna have to place whatever tiles other people are calling out as well. So seems very, very cool. Again, I trust anything that these two designers are doing together because they have not let me down yet. So right as soon as I heard that they were involved, with Capstone Games, this shot up on my list. We are hoping to get a copy in our hands as soon as we possibly can so that we can cover this on our channel, because it's just a perfect fit for us, and we just love games like this, and we want to let you guys know everything you need to know about it so you guys can decide if it's for you as well. So that is Savannah Park. Keep an eye out, because I can almost guarantee you we will cover it on the channel as soon as we can. All right, and the last game we're going to talk about today is a game that is from Ryan Lockett, and it is apparently the 3rd game in the, what do they call it, the Arydia Storybook series. Now, the first 2 are Above and Below and Near and Far. Those are 2 games you've probably heard of, especially if you're into these story-based games. Most recently, he also did Sleeping Gods, which has been getting a ton of attention this year. I have a copy coming. It was actually a gift from Carlos, so you can thank him that we're going to have some content for our channel. That's going to be coming at some point this year, so we'll be able to cover that as well. He's also done Islebound as well. This is the newest one, and it is called Now or Never. So just like Above and Below, Near and Far, now we have Now or Never. So again, another story-based game. This one specifically, everything we know about it is that you and up to 3 other people are going to be able to play it. It is competitive in some way. You are competing against each other to rebuild your ancestral village and guide the rest of your villagers on their journey to this village. There are going to be asymmetrical characters, so it seems like every character that the 4 of you will be able to choose is going to have its own pros and cons, so maybe abilities, things it's strong at, different ways to play, which means that it'll have some replay value in terms of being able to tackle it with a different character, but also when you're sitting around a table playing with 4 people, you're going to be playing it in a different way potentially than the other people at the table are playing. Again, this is a story-driven game. I don't necessarily want to call it a full campaign game. I don't know that you're gonna get the same experience from this that you're getting from a game like Arydia or Gloomhaven, but it is just like the other ones that we've played and has that story element and is very much driven on that story as you play. There's gonna be combat involved, so there's gonna be some sort of system involved with that. You're gonna be battling different creatures and dangerous creatures that are in the game. You are gonna be choosing where and what to build to maintain your village and earn the biggest rewards from that. There's apparently a standard and a story mode, so even though the story is the big thing here, you can play it in standard mode. I would imagine that's for if you want to just sit down with a group and play a single game of it and not continue that over multiple sessions, whereas the story mode is going to have a storybook associated with it that you're following. So a lot of this might sound familiar from other Ryan Lockett games, other ones in this storybook series. But again, if you are a fan of those, you're already, you already have this on your radar. You're already waiting for this. And if you're not, and you're really excited for this, the good news is if you haven't played the other ones, in the meantime, you can go play Above and Below or Near and Far or Sleeping Gods or Islebound and get your fix. And by the time you get through all 4 of those, this one will probably be out and you won't have to wait anymore. So if you have not heard of these games before, this is a perfect time to jump in now that we're getting a new one. And if you have and you've played them already, well, you got to wait like the rest of us for this new one. But I'm sure it's going to deliver on all the same fronts that the other ones did. So I am super excited for this one, and I'm sure you are too. All right, guys, there you have it. 7 brand new games. I think I guess it's more than 7 if you count all the Marvel packs as different ones. But regardless, lots of new games to be excited about. There seems to be new games announced all the time. I'm sure we're going to do another one of these videos within a month or 2. But there's always something to be excited about, and I can't just be excited by myself. I got to share it with you guys. So tell me in the comments which of these you are most excited about, or even better yet, tell me which ones I missed and I did not put on this list that you were expecting to see, that you are excited about, so that I can look them up and actually put them on my radar and be just as excited as you. I'd love to hear them. Last time we did this video, I heard about a bunch of games in the comments that I didn't even know about. It was great to discover them and put them on my list. So let me know. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.